Everybody, good morning. How is everybody doing today? So today I'm chatting to you guys about a pretty crazy topic. I wanted to share with you guys on, sorry, I'm bringing up my video here, on what age do body image issues start and that you won't believe it. So this is kind of crazy, and when I started to kind of research some of these statistics, I was like overwhelmed by what I was reading. And so I wanted to just share with you guys a little bit about that and how it is all connected to the work that I am doing with women. So before we get started, you guys, if you are watching with me live this morning, please say hello, so I can say hi back to you. And then if you're watching on the replay, just hashtag replay, and I will make sure I come back on later and say hi to you then. So a couple little housekeeping things before we get started this morning is, if you guys are watching this on Facebook, I would invite you to head on over to YouTube when this video is done and hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications for each time that I come live, which is Monday to Friday around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On my YouTube channel, you will find all things to do with my self-love at any size method that I teach women and empower them to find self-love at any size through many different practices. We do a lot of mindset work, body image practices, mindful eating, mindful movement, mindset work, all the amazing things that really help us to find that inner light, start to show up for life with confidence, start to accept and respect who we see in the mirror, all these amazing things. So you'll find lots of, talks like this one and yoga videos, meditations, all that kind of stuff. So head on over there if you want to join all the fun over there. There's tons of videos. Like there's almost 200 videos, I want to say. So when we go into one more thing before we get started here. If you guys are not in my community already, I have a free community called Imperfectly Perfect You, Finding Self-Love at Any Size. And that is a group for women, and we just are in there empowering each other to do that inner healing and take those brave leaps towards accepting and respecting our bodies. So if that's something that you need help with, or you need a community to support you in your journey, we would love to welcome you into that space. So the link for that group is in the description of the video, or you can just type in imperfectlyperfectyou.ca. So that's the couple things we had to take care of before we get into it here, you guys. So body image is a crazy thing. Someone says hello here. Hello, person. I wish that I could see who it was. So body image is developed early in childhood, right? It's something that we start thinking about at a very early age. And young children can even exhibit like body dissatisfaction. Common Sense Media, which is, I figured it was you, Tanya. I just had a feeling it was Tanya. Hello, Tanya. So Common Sense is a website that has a lot of different statistics on different things. And it's a good place to look at for your kids for media, social media, safety and stuff like that. But, they did a kind of children's, teens, media, and body image report, and they found out that over half of the girls and approximately 1/3 of the boys ages 6 to 8 years old indicate that their ideal body weight is thinner than their current weight. So they wanted to be thinner at the ages of 6 to 8. I just can't believe that at 6 to 8 years old that our body images are already starting to be affected by social media and TV shows and all these things around us, right? So, if you are a mom and you have kids at home, then just realize that at such a young age, kids start to pick apart their bodies. And they're watching us too. So if we are doing that, then they're going to be picking up on that too, right? So a couple other things that stood out to me that I found quite alarming is that by the age of 6, that children are aware of dieting and they may have tried it. Oh, that just breaks my heart. Like, I just can't believe that a 6-year-old is already thinking about dieting or may have tried it already. Like, you guys, the system is so broken. if our children feel like they have to diet at 6 years old. And then another statistic that really stood out to me is that 26% of 5-year-olds recommend dieting as a solution for a person who has gained weight. So that's like a quarter of kids are saying that, oh, well, if that person gained weight, then they need to go on a diet. It's just, and it's nothing that so much of it is, it's what they see, it's what they hear, it's what they absorb from like I even look in like children's books and TV shows and, even kids television and shows rated for children. It's crazy when you start to look at the themes and the messages in them where, yes, okay, it's supposed to be safe for kids. But it's crazy when you start to actually look at the relationship to like body image and body satisfaction and dissatisfaction. Tanya here says, I think it's her. I love Common Sense Media and that it's disgusting, right? It's so crazy. And then the last little thing I wanted to share with you guys in regards to statistics is between the 9 years of 1999 to 2006, hospitalizations for eating disorders among children below the age of 12 spiked 112%. That gives me goosebumps. Like it makes me so sad to think of how many kids have eating disorders based upon, what they're really shown and, that there's something wrong with them. So body image is affected by many factors, right? Like media is one of the several sources that kids get their information from when it comes to body image. And, young children engage with some of the more extreme body portrayals in the media in the form of dolls and action figures too, right? Like if you look like at a Barbie, I was looking at my niece's Barbie this past weekend, and it was like some of the dolls are more curvy now, but even just like the curvy is so extreme. Like it's literally like that hourglass figure, which is not a representation of what women actually look like, right? And even action figures for boys, it's like, the big chest and the big arms and then the tiny, tiny waist and all this stuff, right? So, even in our toys that we are giving our children, they are already looking at those with kind of that, love in their eyes for those figurines where really it's potentially already damaging their body image too, which I know it's crazy and there's no, and I don't think we can take away these things, but I wanted to share with you guys today on some ways that you can start to improve this with your kids and with yourself too, right? And it really starts with yourself is what I really wanted to kind of bring home today. But, and kind of go back to the TV thing that when we're talking about dolls and action figures, when we go back to the TV stuff, female characters in family films on primetime TV and on kids' TV, they're nearly twice as likely to have an uncharacteristically small waist as their male counterparts. So that's another thing too that even TV shows are not representing the average person. So there's so many, like avenues out there that it's impossible to, ignore them all and hide yourself from them. So what I wanted to share with you guys today is just some ways to start to improve that health within your own body image and within your children's body image. Sorry. So what I want to express is that we need to stop waiting until our child is old enough is older. Like, don't wait till your child is older to start having these conversations. And we need to begin guiding our kids at a younger age on opinions of body image. So studies have shown that children form opinions on what a body should look like much earlier than we previously thought. Like another statistic is that it has been reported that children as young as 3 years old worry about being fat, which is, I can't believe it. Like 3 years old. So it's time to change the conversation is really what my message for today. The way that we talk about our bodies, our child is being influenced by that. The meals that you serve, the meals that you eat, whether you exercise, the importance you place on how you look will influence your child. So what I want you guys to think about today is I have a couple little kind of ideas for you to move forward with this on really starting to do the either inner healing or the changing of the narrative yourself, which then is going to be reflected in your kids' lives. So the first thing that I wanted to share is that we really need to stop talking about dieting. We need to talk about eating healthy, but not dieting. So there's a difference, right? It's important to eat a variety of foods, fruits, vegetables, carbohydrates, dairy. There's all these different aspects to, having like a well-balanced kind of diet. But we need to stop talking about dieting and start talking about eating healthy and really talk to your kids about that. Being able to kind of demyth any things that are coming up for them that they think, and just being able to tell them that there's a better way, or there's, that's not the way it is. And then, when we're talking about exercise, we want to start talking to our kids about, we don't want to talk about exercising to lose weight. We want to talk about exercising to be stronger. So if your kids all of a sudden see you making a change in your movement or your kind of like desire to move your body more, and they'll be like, oh, Mom, are you trying to lose weight? Because I know that's something that definitely is a norm when, especially this time of year, if you're a mom or a woman and you start a new exercise routine in January, then automatically people, and kids included, move their perspective to, oh, you're trying to lose weight because you're exercising. And you really need to bring home the fact of, I'm exercising to be healthy. I'm exercising to be strong, and really just changing the narrative, right? And then we also want to talk, we don't want to talk about wanting to improve our bodies to be more attractive, especially, right? Like we don't want to say like, oh, well, mommy needs to lose weight because mommy will be more pretty when she loses weight. We want to talk about improving our body to be ready for whatever life has to offer. And I think that's really powerful. Like, I want to be able to, have a running race with you. I want to be able to get down onto the ground and play with you. And if mommy, improves her body to be able to run faster, then that's awesome, right? So just thinking about those things of not saying that attractiveness is found in a size or a number, right? And so when we work down the list here, another thing that we can start to stop doing is don't use the clean plate mentality for the measure of food. That's been something that I know we've all grown up with probably, is that, you take what you eat, you clean your plate before you leave the table. Really teaching kids and ourselves to pause and determine whether they are full or satisfied. So, if a child is full and they've ate, half of their plate, but they're telling you that they're full, then really have that conversation. That really opens the door to start to talk to kids about what they, just determining, connecting to their bodies and being like, are you really full? Because, that means that you're not going to be hungry for chips in 5 minutes. Really just having that conversation, and then they are the judge of whether or not they are full or hungry still. And then another tip for you guys is to not focus on outer appearance. We need to talk about what it means to be good people, to be kind, praise our children on their inner attributes. What does she say? Yes, it's not bad behavior when kids don't want to finish their food. Totally. My font is so weird, I can't see that. Like it's crazy when we start thinking about that it's not calling our kids bad when they don't finish their meal, right? And that's definitely something that just the narrative needs to change. It's been something that's been the way it is for so long that it takes time to change that, right? And so when we, so kind of like going back to my next point, which was really focusing on praising your child's inner attributes, like saying, oh, that, like when you see them doing something kind, when you see them being a good person, when you see them, helping out around the house, like praising those things that are good inner attributes. Like if they show bravery in a situation, if they, like all these different, like I've always told my kids, and that's something that I've been passionate about since day one, is I want them to be brave and I want them to be kind. Those are two attributes that I always really, I'm like, I don't care what your grades are. I don't care how many friends you have. I want you to be brave and I want you to be kind. And so I think really being able to focus on those inner attributes rather than our outward appearance is really going to help our kids with their body image as they are growing. And then another thing that we want to stop doing is skipping meals, because skipping meals with our kids when they're watching, right? They watch us all the time. We want to show our children that it's important to eat, right? Like and you know, especially because I know as moms or women, we tend to be like, oh, you know what? I ate too much last night. I'm not going to eat breakfast today because I need to, like, you know, I don't deserve breakfast because I ate too much yesterday. So it's really important to do that too with your families. And then another thing that we can think about is to not make every food decision for your child. Give your child a say in what they eat. Let your child help choose foods at the grocery store, and use that time to kind of help your child determine, what foods they like, what foods they don't like, making sure that they're kind of eating a well-rounded diet kind of thing, like foods that are nourishing their body, that kind of thing, right? So there's just so many things that we can talk about here. Like, I feel like I could talk about this forever. It's such an interesting topic to me to start to change our perspective on body image with kids, and, you know, to help them to develop more healthy ways of being and healthy ways of having that confidence that comes with an improved body image. And so, you know, I think to drive home this whole stuff is to realize that it really starts with us as moms. When we are able to start to do that inner healing for ourselves and change our own narratives that we have always kind of been our thinking, then our kids' thinking is going to change at the same time. And I think the biggest part is to really start the conversations with your kids at a young age on, like, you know, starting to talk to them about, you know, things they are watching or things they are reading, or, you know, conversations or situations that happen at school, all connecting back to our body image and really starting to come from a place of, you know, trying to transform the way that we are being in order to improve that body image and to stop that vicious cycle of a 3-year-old wanting to go on a diet. Like, it's just insane. So that's all I kind of wanted to chat to you guys about today. I hope that was helpful for you. It's important to not shield our children from these things, because they are, you know, there's no ignoring all of these things that are going on. There's no, like, you can't just put your child in a bubble and expect them not to be exposed to any of these potentially horrible things. However, it's, you know, it's good to have the discussions, to have the conversations and all that stuff. So I hope that was helpful for you guys, and just kind of really making sure that you realize that this all comes down to, and I know it's putting a lot of pressure on us mamas, but I think it's important to realize that we really need to be the ones to start this change. You know, for future generations, for our kids, for our grandkids, all those kind of things. When we start to do the inner healing for ourselves and start to change the way that our mindset is on either dieting or body image or appearance or all these things, then our kids are going to be totally reflected in our own changes. Excuse me. So I hope that was helpful. So a couple things before I pop out of here, you guys, is if you are not familiar already, I have my program called the Self-Love Revolution with Martina, which really starts to help you transform the way that about some of the things that we talked about today. So within this program, you learn my Self-Love at Any Size method, which is comprised of like some mindset work, some body image work, mindful eating, mindful movement, building community, mystic and holistic approaches, all these things that kind of reflect really being able to transform the way that you see yourself, to be able to accept and respect your body, and to really find your purpose, shine your light, all those amazing things. So this program is 40% off right now, which is insane. It won't be like this price for very long. I have plans as little as $27 a month to have access to this program. Me as your coach for life, access to the program for life. And the program is going to be growing and evolving as I go on my journey too. There's going to be more added to it all the time. So now is the time to get in, you guys. If you want to start to help not only yourself with your body image, but your children, I would love to stand beside you in your journey to your self-love revolution. So if you guys want more information on that, you can message me with the word self-love, or you can just message me in general, or you can follow the link in the description of the video to learn more about that program. And one more thing before I pop out. I have a book collaboration that is in the process of being filled. I have 22 spots for a book collaboration, which is called Imperfectly Perfect, 22 Inspiring Stories of Self-Love and Self-Discovery. And I would love for you to become a published author in 2022. This is a really fun passion project of mine, and I'm excited to collaborate with all these different women on sharing their stories and putting their message out into the world. I really feel like sharing our own stories really allows us to take those brave leaps towards inner healing for ourselves, along with sharing our message with everyone else in the world, to be able to inspire and empower everyone else to say that, hey, that person overcame something really big for them, and I can overcome things too, right? So that book collaboration has a couple spots left in it. If you want to take advantage of one of those spots, follow the link in the description of the video and make sure that you sign up sooner than later. The doors are open to this project only until January 31st. So if you want a spot, I would secure it soon. And that's all, you guys. So if you have questions about any of this stuff, please feel free to reach out to me. I love to connect to anyone who wants to chat. So I see Tanya on there says thanks. So thanks for coming and tuning in, Tanya. I've talked too much today. It's time to go. All right, you guys, have the best